The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets overhead as I sat ramrod straight in the leather chair, my palms slick against the armrests. "So, Jordan," Chris Harlan said, his voice smooth as aged whiskey, leaning back with that easy confidence only Ivy League types pull off without trying. "Tell us about your last role at the agency. Any personal challenges that shaped your perspective?" I opened my mouth to spin the safe answer, the one about tight deadlines and creative breakthroughs, but instead, the words tumbled out raw and unfiltered. Honestly, coming out to my team mid-campaign. They thought my inspiration for the diversity ad was just research. Turns out, it was my life. The room went dead silent, the kind that echoes in your bones, and I braced for the door to swing open on my way out, unemployed and exposed. Chris's pen froze mid-note, his blue eyes locking onto mine not with judgment, but something sharper, recognition, maybe, or hunger. Across the table, Harry Voss, the firm's stoic partner with salt and pepper hair and a jawline that could cut glass, shifted in his seat, his gaze flicking to Chris like he was reading a code only they knew. "That's bold," Harry finally murmured, his voice low and gravelly, the faintest twitch at the corner of his mouth betraying what? Amusement? Desire? Couldn't tell. But in that suspended breath, the air thickened with unspoken histories, pulling me under before I even had the job. What I didn't know then, what no amount of rehearsed small talk could prepare me for, was that blurting my truth wasn't the grenade I thought. It was the spark. And in the glittering underbelly of Manhattan's ad world, where secrets were currency and hearts collateral damage, that spark would ignite a firestorm of love, lies, and the kind of redemption that leaves scars you wear like badges. I wiped my palms on my slacks for the third time since stepping off the elevator into the glass and steel fortress of Voss and Harlan Creative on the 42nd floor of 1 Penn 1. New York in late October was a crisp slap to the face. Pumpkin spice everything on the streets below, but up here, it was all polished ambition and the faint scent of expensive cologne masking desperation. I clawed my way through freelance gigs after my last agency implosion, the one where my boss suggested I tone down the rainbow lanyard if I wanted that promotion. At 28, with student loans gnawing at my heels like feral dogs, this interview was my Hail Mary. Senior copywriter. Salary that could actually cover rent in Brooklyn without ramen noodles as a side hustle. The receptionist, a poised woman named Elena with a smile like she'd copyrighted it, led me to the conference room. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the Hudson River, gray and churning under a sky-threatening rain. I adjusted my tie, navy, safe, screaming, "I'm professional, not a threat," and rehearsed my pitch one last time. Strengths, witty taglines that sold out viral campaigns. Weaknesses, none I'd admit on record. Then they walked in. Chris Harlan first, striding like he owned the skyline, which, let's be honest, he pretty much did. Mid-30s, tousled dark hair that begged for fingers to ruin it further, and a button-down rolled to the elbows, revealing forearms corded from. What, rock climbing in the Adirondacks? He flashed a grin that hit like caffeine straight to the vein. Jordan Reyes? Pleasure. I'm Chris, creative director here. This is my partner in crime, Harry Voss, founding partner and the guy who keeps me from bankrupting us with bad ideas. Harry extended a hand, his grip firm, lingering a beat too long. Early 40s, maybe, with that rugged handsomeness that comes from boardrooms and bad decisions. Deep-set green eyes, a faint scar tracing his left eyebrow like a whispered secret. "We've reviewed your portfolio," he said, settling into his chair with the grace of a panther. The echoes of us campaign for that queer lit festival? Real. Sold tickets like hotcakes. Heat crept up my neck. I poured my soul into that one, weaving in fragments of my own fractured coming-out story amid the metaphors. Thanks. It was personal. We dove in. The usual gauntlet, behavioral questions, hypotheticals about client crises, my vision for disrupting the stale masculinity in beer ads. I nailed it, or so I thought, until Chris leaned forward, elbows on the table, and hit me with the curveball. Diversity isn't just a buzzword here, Jordan. We've got initiatives, but we want authenticity. What drives you, really, beyond the resume bullet points? That was the hook. The moment I could have pivoted to team player platitudes. But nerves or fate or the ghost of every closet I'd busted open made me honest. Look, I'll level with you. Last job, I was the token gay guy, great for optics, until it wasn't. Pitched a same-sex wedding spot for a jewelry client, and suddenly it's too niche. I walked. Because if I'm selling dreams, they better include ones where guys like me get the ring, not the side-eye. Silence. My heart hammered like a bass drop at a warehouse rave. Harry's fingers drummed once on the table. Tap, tap before stilling. Chris's expression didn't crack. If anything, softened, his eyes tracing my face like he was memorizing it. Guys like you, he echoed softly, almost to himself. Then, louder. That's exactly why we need you here. I blinked. Wait. What? Harry chuckled, a low rumble that vibrated through the glass. He's serious. We've been bleeding talent because this city's ad scene is still a boys' club with a rainbow filter. Your voice? It's the edge we've been missing. He slid a folder across. Offer letter. Benefits package. Start date 2 weeks out. Welcome to the family. Jordan. Stunned didn't cover it. Speechless? Closer. I mumbled thanks. Signed on the dotted line with a hand that shook like I'd mainlined espresso. As Elena escorted me out, Chris caught my elbow in the hallway, his touch electric. Drinks after your first week? To celebrate properly. Harry's buying, he owes me. I nodded, brain short-circuiting. What the hell had just happened? In a world where queerness could still tank a career, I'd laid it bare and walked out with a key to the kingdom. Or so I thought. The next 2 weeks blurred in a haze of prep, updating my wardrobe, no more thrift store chic, memorizing the org chart, and second-guessing every life choice that led to spilling my guts in a job interview. Brooklyn felt smaller. My shoebox apartment in Bushwick a launchpad to something bigger. My best friend, Mia, a fiery Latina illustrator who dragged me to my first Pride, texted nonstop. Spill. Hot bosses. Office romance potential. I fired back emojis, dodging the truth. Chris's grin haunted my dreams. Harry's scar a puzzle I itched to trace. First day, chaos in the best way. Open-plan office buzzing with millennials and Gen Z hustlers. Walls plastered with mood boards for everything from eco-fashion drops to political satires. My desk overlooked the bullpen, close enough to eavesdrop on Chris barking laughs at Harry's dry quips. They were legends here. Voss and Harlan had launched from a garage startup to poaching Fortune 500 accounts in a decade. Chris, the visionary, Harry, the anchor. Rumors swirled. They were exes. Or brothers in arms. Or both. By lunch, Chris swung by with a coffee. Black. 2 sugars. Just how I'd mentioned in passing. Settling in? His proximity was intoxicating, cologne like cedar and sin. We chatted shop, brainstorming a pitch for a non-binary skincare line, until Harry appeared, tray in hand. Interrupting? He asked, but his eyes said otherwise, lingering on Chris's hand, brushing mine over the mock-ups. Not at all, I said, pulse racing. Join us. What followed was an afternoon of alchemy. Ideas flying like sparks. Chris's enthusiasm infectious. Harry's insights cutting through the fluff like a knife. By 6 p.m., we'd roughed out a concept that had the team whooping. You're a natural, Chris said as we packed up, his shoulder bumping mine in the elevator. Harry watched from the corner, silent, but his smile held an edge. That night, over whiskey sours at a dive bar in the East Village, neon signs flickering like faulty memories, I learned the layers. Chris was out and proud, a Columbia Golden Boy who'd come out senior year amid a scandal that nearly derailed his thesis. Family cut me off, he admitted, swirling his glass. Harry pulled me through. Met him at a queer-lit reading, ironic. Huh? He was the brooding straight ally type back then. Harry, nursing a bourbon neat, snorted. Straight as a pretzel. Took me another 5 years to admit it. His confession landed soft. But the weight behind it, decades of denial in a conservative upstate family, hung heavy. Chris saved me right back. We tried the whole thing once. Didn't stick. But the friendship? Ironclad. I nodded, absorbing it all, the alcohol loosening my tongue. Must be nice, having that. My folks. They love me, but it's conditional. Like, we support you, just not at Thanksgiving with him. Chris's foot nudged mine under the table. Accidental? Intentional? Screw conditional. Life's too short for half measures. Harry's gaze met mine over the rim of his glass. Intense. Unreadable. The air crackled, possibilities branching like the subway lines we'd take home. Over the next month, the rhythm set in, mornings of caffeine-fueled brainstorms, afternoons chasing deadlines, evenings blurring into after-work hangs that stretched till last call. Chris and I synced effortlessly, our taglines laced with subtext only we'd catch, stolen glances over conference tables turning into late-night texts about everything from indie films to the ache of unrequited crushes. Harry orbited us, his presence a gravitational pull, mentoring me on client negotiations, his hand steady on my shoulder during pitches, but always with that shadowed undercurrent, like he was holding back a storm. One Friday, after nailing a Levi's campaign with a nod to fluid identities, we celebrated at Harry's penthouse in Chelsea, rooftop views of the Empire State glowing like a beacon. Wine flowed, laughter echoed off the exposed brick. Chris pulled me aside on the terrace, city lights painting his face in gold. Jordan, he murmured, close enough I could taste his breath, Merlot and mint. This feels right. You feel right. My heart somersaulted. I leaned in, our lips brushing tentative, then fierce, the world narrowing to the press of his body, solid and sure. Fireworks weren't just for the 4th. They exploded in my chest as his fingers tangled in my hair, pulling me deeper. We broke apart breathless, foreheads touching. Been wanting that since the interview, he confessed. Me too, but as I glanced back inside, Harry's silhouette framed in the doorway, drink in hand, his expression wasn't joy. It was fracture, pain etched deep, a betrayal already blooming in the dark. The kiss lingered like smoke from a just extinguished candle, sweet and hazy, as Chris and I slipped back into the party. His hand found the small of my back, a subtle anchor that made my skin hum. Harry's penthouse pulsed with life. Colleagues clustered around the charcuterie spread, indie folk crooning from hidden speakers, the skyline a glittering audience to our secret. But secrets have a way of unraveling threads, and I caught Harry's eye across the room. He raised his glass in a toast, smile tight as piano wire, before turning to charm a junior designer with that effortless gravitas. "Earth to Jordan," Chris teased later, as we sprawled on a leather sectional, feet tangled under a throw blanket. The crowd had thinned, leaving a cocoon of intimacy. "You're a million miles away, just..." Processing, I traced the vein on his wrist, mesmerized by its pulse. "This is fast, but good fast." His thumb grazed my jaw, tilting my chin up. Vulnerability flickered in his eyes, the kind that comes from too many heartbreaks in a city that chews up dreamers. "The best." I kissed him again, slower this time, savoring the way he sighed into it, like I'd unlocked a door he'd boarded shut. Harry joined us then, sinking into the armchair opposite, legs crossed casual but his posture rigid. "You two look cozy. Should I clear out?" Chris laughed, tossing a pillow at him. "Jealous? Plenty of room in this love nest for your ugly mug." "Hardly." Harry's chuckle was hollow, his gaze sliding to me, probing, almost accusatory. "Just making sure our new star isn't getting swept off his feet too quick." "Burnout's a bitch in this game." I bristled, the warmth cooling. "I can handle myself." Never doubted it, but his tone said otherwise, laced with something bitter, unspoken. The night frayed from there, goodbyes exchanged, Ubers summoned. Chris walked me to mine, stealing one last kiss under the awning as rain began to patter. Monday. Pitch meeting. "Wear that blue shirt. It matches your eyes." I grinned, floating home on a cloud of endorphins, collapsing into bed with his scent on my collar. Text pinged. "Can't stop thinking about your mouth." I replied with fire emojis, heart racing. This was it, the plot twist in my rom-com life. Love in the city of a million stories, mine finally starring me. Monday dawned brutal. Hangover fog, subway delays, a client email blowing up the group chat about revisions. By 10 a.m., I was neck-deep in rewrites when Chris appeared at my desk, coffee in hand. "Fuel for the fire," he said, winking. We huddled over my laptop, shoulders brushing, chemistry crackling like static. Harry's office door loomed across the floor, glass walls revealing him on a call, pacing, phone pressed to his ear, eyes occasionally darting our way. The pitch that afternoon was electric. Me and Chris tag-teaming the boardroom, visuals popping on the projector. Urban lovers in faded denim, hands intertwined against graffiti walls. Tagline: "Threads that bind, no matter the knot." The execs ate it up, applause rippling as Harry sealed the deal with a handshake. "Brilliant," he said, clapping my back a tad too hard. "You two make a hell of a team." "More than a team," Chris quipped, slinging an arm around my waist. The room tittered, but Harry's jaw clenched, just for a split second. After, in the elevator alone with him, Chris detained by a call, tension thickened. "He's good for you," Harry said abruptly, staring at the descending numbers. "Don't fuck it up." Planning not to, I met his stare. "What's your deal?" "Harry, you act like I'm the one walking on eggshells." He exhaled sharp, rubbing his scar. Because I know Chris. Better than anyone. He's all in, or he's a ghost. And ghosts leave wreckage. The doors dinged open, spilling us into the lobby. He strode off without another word, leaving me adrift in the marble echo. That wreckage started small. Whispers in the break room. Harlan's got a new boy toy. Mia grilled me over FaceTime. Spill the tea, is it serious? I downplayed it, early days. But inside, it was a whirlwind. Dinners at hole-in-the-wall Thai spots in Hell's Kitchen, where Chris confessed his fears. I came out loud. But love, that's the real vulnerability. Walks in Washington Square Park, leaves crunching underfoot, his hand in mine defying the chill stares. Sex in his loft in Soho, tumbled sheets, bodies mapping each other like uncharted territories, laughter mingling with gasps. Harry faded to the periphery, or so I told myself. Professional nods in meetings, the occasional gruff good work in the hallway. But at the office holiday mixer, string lights twinkling, spiked eggnog flowing, he cornered me by the bar. A word. We stepped onto the balcony. City lights a blurry halo through the frost. What's eating you? I asked, sipping to steady my nerves. He leaned on the railing, breath fogging the air. You don't see it, do you? How he lights up around you. Like you hung the moon. A pause. Heavy. I used to be that for him. My stomach twisted. You said it didn't stick. It didn't. But echoes linger. His voice cracked. Bro. Just. Be careful with his heart. It's bigger than he lets on. Before I could respond, Chris burst out, cheeks flushed from laughter inside. There you are, hiding from the mistletoe. He pulled me in, oblivious, planting a kiss that tasted of rum and recklessness. Harry watched, then slipped away, a shadow melting into the night. Winter deepened, our affair blooming amid the slush. New Year's Eve at a queer club in the village, bodies grinding to pulsing bass, Chris's lips on my neck as confetti rained. To us, he toasted at midnight, clinking glasses sloshing champagne. But come January, cracks spiderwebbed. It started with a late night. Chris missed our dinner residential at that Italian spot in Little Italy, client emergency. The text read. I nursed a plate of carbonara alone, scrolling his Insta, a story of him at a bar with the team, Harry front and center, arms slung casual, grins wide. Team building, I rationalized. But the knot in my gut tightened. Then the silences, days without texts, excuses piling like snowdrifts. Harry's swamped, big merger pitch, he'd say, collapsing beside me exhausted. I traced the lines of fatigue on his face, whispering, we need this. Us. I know, but his eyes drifted, haunted. The betrayal hit on Valentine's, irony sharp as thorns. I'd planned it perfect. Reservation at 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. Roses in his favorite color, deep crimson. A handwritten note quoting E. Cummings, I carry your heart with me. He showed late, Thai askew, smelling faintly of Harry's cologne. Cedar, same as mine, but sharper, lived in. Sorry, love. Pitch ran long. We ate by candlelight, his foot not seeking mine under the table. As dessert arrived, chocolate lava cake oozing like unspoken truths, I pushed. Talk to me. What's really going on? He sighed, fork pausing. It's nothing. Just, Harry's been off. Since us. Thinks he's losing me. My chest hollowed. And are you? Mine? God. Yes. He reached for my hand, but his grip faltered. But he's family. The only one who gets it, the closets, the cuts. I can't just. The bill came. We walked out into a flurry of hearts and horns, the city mocking our fracture. Back at his place, lovemaking felt obligatory, bodies moving through motions while minds wandered. Afterward, tangled in sheets, he murmured, "Promise me something. Don't let this change us." But it already had. The next week, the storm broke. A leaked email chain, anonymous, vicious, hit the office Slack. Screenshots of Chris and Harry's late nights at a hotel bar. Timestamps overlapping our missed dates. Who's the real partner? The thread speculated. Emojis dripping shade. I confronted him in the stairwell, voice echoing off concrete. Tell me it's bullshit. It's not what it looks like. His face crumpled. Harry's spiraling, drinking too much, pitching wild ideas. I was just supporting. Supporting how? By lying to me? Tears burned, hot and furious. I laid it all out that interview day. Trusted you with my scars. And this, Jordan, please, he reached, but I jerked back. You're a ghost already. The words from Harry, prophetic. I fled down the stairs, bursting into the street, rain soaking me to the bone. Harry found me later, at a coffee shop in Midtown, huddled over a latte gone cold. He slid into the booth uninvited, coat dripping. Saw you bolt. Figured you'd need this. He pushed a flask across, bourbon. Neat. Fuck off, I muttered, but took a swig anyway. It burned clean. He told you, not a question. About the support? Yeah. Real noble, dragging him back into your orbit. His laugh was bitter. Orbit, kid? I pushed him toward you. Every step. Because seeing him happy, that's my win. He leaned in. Eyes stormy. But you think betrayal's one-sided? Check your blind spots. What the hell did that mean? I stormed out. Flask abandoned. The city's pulse mocking my unraveling heart. Spring teased Manhattan with false promises. Crocuses pushing through sidewalk grime. But the chill lingered, mirroring the frost in my veins. I threw myself into work, churning copy like a machine, ads for pride parades that rang hollow, taglines for couples retreats that mocked my solitude. Chris respected the space, his texts tapering to professional pings, revised slide 7. Each one a paper cut. Harry, though, he became a specter. Notes on my drafts left on my desk, sharper. Dig deeper. Coffees appearing like peace offerings. His presence a gravitational nag. One overcast Tuesday, after a brutal client call where they axed my queer-inclusive angle for broader appeal, I snapped. His office door ajar. I barged in. What do you want from me? Harry, absolution, a front-row seat to your sabotage. He looked up from his laptop, surprise flickering before settling into calm. Sit. Before you combust. Against better judgment, I did, perching on the edge of the client chair. The room smelled of leather and regret, awards lining shelves like trophies from a war no one won. Start talking. The email leak you're doing? Payback for stealing your ex. His eyebrows shot up. Stealing? Christ. Jordan, you think this is some soap opera? I leaked nothing. If anything, I'm the idiot who warned you. He steepled his fingers, exhaling slow. Chris and I. It's history. Messy. Yeah. But you're the future he deserves. I bowed out months ago. Liar. My voice cracked. I saw the photos. The late nights. Photos from team drinks. Late nights talking him off ledges, mostly. Guilt's a hell of a drug. He stood, pacing to the window, back to me. I came out late, Jordan. Married a woman once. Had a kid who barely speaks to me now. Divorced ugly. Chris was my lifeline then. But holding on, that's not love. It's drowning him. I swallowed, the room tilting. Then why the games, the stares, the jabs? He turned, face etched with fatigue. Because you're good for him. Too good. And that scares me shitless. What if you see the cracks, the panic attacks, the workaholic bullshit, and bolt? He won't survive another heartbreak. Empathy warred with anger, a tangle I couldn't unknot. I'm not bolting. But trust? That's shattered. Fair. He crossed to his desk, pulling a drawer. Out came a photo, faded, creased. Young Chris and Harry at a beach, arms around each other, windswept and grinning, pre-scars. This was us, before the world weighed in. Don't let my baggage torch your shot. I left with the photo, a talisman or a curse, tucked in my pocket. That night, alone in my apartment, I pored over it, their joy a mirror to what Chris and I had grazed. Texts from Mia. Call me, dummy. Booze and bad advice await. I ignored them, scrolling old messages from him instead. Your laugh is my favorite sound. Tears blurred the screen. Pride had taught me resilience. But love, it was a blade, twisting deep. Reconciliation crept in sideways. A shared cab after a midnight brainstorm. Chris beside me, thigh warm against mine, the silence companionable. Missed this, he whispered at a red light. Me too. No grand gestures, just quiet rebuilding. Coffee runs turning flirty, lunches where feet hooked under tables. By May, we were tentative again, dinners at his place, cooking pasta with too much garlic, bodies rediscovering rhythms. I fucked up, he admitted one night, head on my chest. Harry's my past, but you're home. Home. The word settled like roots. But roots tangle, and Harry's shadow loomed. At the firm-wide retreat in the Hamptons, beach bonfires, trust falls, and too much rose, he pulled Chris aside during a group hike. Words lost to the wind but body language screaming urgency. I watched from afar, gut churning, until Mia, visiting for the weekend, nudged me. Breathe, babe. Paranoia's a thief. She was right. That night, under stars pricked like diamonds on velvet, Chris found me on the dunes. Harry's leaving the firm. The words landed soft. Seismic. What? Why? Personal reasons. Burnout, he says. But it's me, us. He can't watch anymore. Chris's voice trembled. I hate this. He's family. Guilt gnawed. We can pause. For him. No. Fierce. He cupped my face. I've paused enough lifetimes. This is real. We're real. We made love there. Sand gritty between us. Waves crashing a symphony to our gasps. Dawn painted us gold. Promises whispered against skin. Harry's exit was swift. A farewell lunch. Toasts to his legacy. His speech gracious. Voss and Harlan's heart beats on. Grateful for the ride. His eyes met mine last, nod of respect. Or release. He vanished to consulting upstate, the office echoing without his growl. Summer sweltered in, our love ripening. Weekends in Fire Island, gay Mecca where hands held free, bodies bronzed by sun. Chris proposed a trip, cross-country drive, Route 66 Redux, chasing sunsets in a rented Mustang. Just us, he said, packing playlists of Springsteen and Hozier. We hit the road Labor Day weekend, windows down, wind whipping secrets away. Deserts blurred to motels with neon vacancy signs, diner booths sticky with history. In a Taos adobe, under chilly restros dangling like rubies, he knelt. Not with a ring too soon, too much, but words. Marry me? Someday. When the world's ready, or fuck it, when we are. Tears stung. Yes. God. Yes. Back in New York. Buzz built. Promotion whispers. My name floated for junior director. Life crested. A wave about to break. Then the wave crashed. October gale. Leaves whipping like accusations. Anonymous tip to HR. Emails from Harry's, consulting alias, screenshots of Chris's private journal entries. Raw confessions about our fights. His doubts. My jealousy issues. Leaked to the board. Painted as toxic dynamics, threatening the merger. Confrontation in Chris's office. Door slammed. Your journal? How? Not me. His face ashen. Harry swore he deleted it years ago. Must have kept copies. Betrayal. Round 2 sharper. Poisoned. I stormed out. Cab to Brooklyn. Pounding rain mirroring the flood inside. Mia answered my frantic call. Get here. Now. Curled on her couch. Sobs racking. I spilled it all, the highs, the hooks, the hollows. I trusted him. Them. Trust's a gamble. Mijo. She stroked my hair. But you're the prize. Don't fold. Morning brought clarity. Cold and cutting. I drafted the resignation, poised, professional. Grateful for opportunities, pursuing new horizons. Hit send before noon. Chris's call came as I packed. Don't do this. Please. It's not what you think. Save it. My voice steel. You kept secrets. He weaponized them. I'm done being collateral. Jordan. Click. The city blurred as I wandered. Central Park paths slick with fallen gold. Benches occupied by lovers oblivious to my ache. Hours later, a text from an unknown number. Coffee? Truths need air. Against sanity, I went. Diner in Hell's Kitchen. Vinyl booths cracked like old hearts. Harry slid in. Haggard, stubble shadowing his jaw. Eyes red-rimmed. You hate me. Fair. Understatement. I gripped my mug. Knuckles white. He nodded, ordering black coffee. The journal? Mine. Backup from when we were together. Dug it up in a weak moment. Read it. Saw. Everything. The pain I caused him. Bleeding into you. Why leak? Stupid. Desperate. His voice broke. Thought if the board saw the instability, they'd force him to choose me. The firm. Something safe. Not you. The wild card. Rage boiled. You gambled our lives. For what? A ghost chance. Yes. Whisper. And lost everything. He pushed an envelope across. Resignation from the board. Full divestment. Firm's yours now. With Chris. I won't haunt anymore. Pity-pierced fury. Why tell me? Because you deserve the end of the story. Not the middle. He stood, coat in hand. Tell him. I'm sorry. For the boy he loved. And the man he became without me. He left, bell tinkling like finality. I sat, envelope heavy, truths heavier. Evening found me at Chris's door, key still on my ring. He opened, wrecked, hair disheveled, shirt untucked. Jordan, no words. I pulled him close, lips crashing, salt of tears mingling. We tumbled inside, clothes shedding like skins, bodies frantic with need and forgiveness. I choose us, he gasped against my throat. Always, dawn filtered through blinds, us tangled, spent. Harry, I murmured. Gone. For good, sigh. But we're not. November wrapped New York in scarves and steam. Grates hissing against the cold. Holiday lights, premature twinkles in shop windows. The firm adapted. Me stepping into Harry's void. Co-directing with Chris. Our synergy now laced with survivor grit. Board meetings where I pitched bold, queer-led campaigns for mainstream brands. Diversity quotas with teeth. Whispers turned to nods. Reyes is the real deal. Mia crowed over brunch. From interview bombshell to boss bitch. Iconic, but icons have underbellies. Chris and I navigated the minefield, therapy sessions twice weekly, unpacking the debris. Betrayal's a teacher, our counselor, a no-nonsense dyke named Rita, drawled in her village office, cat posters peeling at the edges. What did it school you in? Boundaries, Chris said, hand squeezing mine. Vulnerability without armor, I added. We laughed, tentative, the sound a bridge over the chasm. Harry's absence echoed. His office gutted, repurposed as a collab space, whiteboards scrawled with our next big swing. A national PSA series on mental health in the LGBTQ+ community. Raw testimonials scripted from our scars. Chris poured heart into it. I wove the words. Late nights there, pizza boxes piling, his head on my shoulder as we edited. This line, love doesn't erase the dark, it lights the way. Yours, ours, kiss, soft, affirming. Thanksgiving loomed, a gauntlet. My family in Queens, mom's tamales steaming, dad's awkward pats on the back, siblings ribbing over turkey. Bring the boyfriend? Mom asked on a call, voice hopeful. He's work, half-truth. Chris's folks were radio silence, upstate ghosts. We opted for Mia's potluck, queer chosen family, tables groaning under empanadas and mac and cheese, stories swapped like heirlooms. Under the table, his pinky hooked mine. This is enough, he whispered. But enough cracked come December. A package arrived at the office, unmarked, heavy. Inside, Harry's photo album, dog-eared snapshots from their youth. Beach days, dive bars, a faded pride float with them arm in arm, signs reading love wins. Tucked in the back, a letter for the archive. Or the fire. Your call. H. Chris's face drained as he leafed through. Bastard. Thinks this absolves him. Maybe it's just. Goodbye. I traced a picture of young Harry, eyes bright before the weight. People break. Chris. Doesn't make them monsters. He slammed it shut. He broke us. That night. Fight brewed slow. Dinner at Gramercy Tavern turning terse over wine. You're defending him, he accused, fork stabbing his steak. I'm seeing him, the words hung. Human. Flawed. Like us. Us. Bitter laugh. You mean me? The idiot who kept secrets. Stop. I reached across, but he pulled back. We're past this. Are we? Eyes glassy. Or am I just the safe harbor till something shinier docks? The check came. Cab ride home silent. Storm clouds gathering. At his loft. Explosion. I can't keep proving I'm not him, I shouted, pacing the exposed brick. And I can't keep fearing you'll bolt like he did, Chris fired back. Voice raw. Words as weapons, old wounds ripped anew. I grabbed my coat. Maybe space. Again. Door slammed. Streets swallowed me. Snow flurrying soft, muffling the roar in my head. Wandered to the High Line. Rails elevated above the fray. City lights a constellation of what-ifs. Hours passed. Phone dead. Battery sacrificed to the cold. Found a payphone, relic, but working, dialed Mia collect. Crash at mine, she insisted. Chris can stew. Her walk-up in the Lower East Side smelled of sage and takeout. We talked till 3 a.m. tears. Tequila. Truths. Love's not a straight line, she said, braiding my hair absently. It's a goddamn pretzel. Twist back. Mijo. Morning brought armistice. Chris at her door. Coffee tray in hand. Ice puffy. Truce. No grovel. Just open palm. Mia shoved us together. Fix it. Or fuck off. We did both. Back at his place. Apologies murmured against skin. Bodies mending fractures. No more ghosts, he vowed, tracing my collarbone. Promise, but vows are paper thin. Christmas Eve. The PSA launched. Billboards blooming across Times Square. Our faces anonymized in the mosaic of stories. Lights the way. Critics raved. Donations surged to hotlines. At the wrap party, rooftop at the Standard, champagne toasts and hugs from strangers who'd seen their pain reflected. Harry appeared like a specter. Tux crisp, but face gaunt. Heard it was big, voice gravel. Chris stiffened beside me. What are you doing here? Supporting. Nod to the screens flashing our ad. Proud of you. Both. Tension coiled. I stepped forward. Thanks. Means something. His eyes green. Weary held mine. It does. Merry Christmas. He melted into the crowd. Gone before the countdown. Fireworks burst at midnight. Chris pulling me close amid cheers. To New Year's. But New Year's unearth old bones. January thawed secrets. Harry's consulting. Rehab stint in Vermont. Bourbon his demon. A card arrived, postmark Albany. Sober 90 days. Keep lighting. Chris crumpled it. Too little. Too late, I asked softly. We let it sit. Focusing on us, ring shopping in secret. Simple bands of white gold. Engraved echoes of us. Proposal redux on the Brooklyn Bridge. Dawn pink and promising. Marry me. Now. Vegas. Courthouse. Whatever. Laughter bubbled. Yes. All of it. Wedding fever gripped spring. Suits tailored on Fifth. Mia as best woman. Vows exchanged in a garden at the New York Botanical. Lilacs blooming defiant. Vows. In the dark. Your light. In the storm. Your anchor. Rings slid on. Ceiling. Honeymoon in Provincetown. Beaches wide. Whales breaching offshore. Nights in a lighthouse B&B where foghorns sang lullabies. This is forever, Chris murmured. Salt-tangled hair in my fingers. Damn right. Return brought reality. Firm thriving. Us promoted tandem Cosios. Voss and Harlan rebranded Reyes Harlan Creative. But harmony phrase. June heat wave. A merger pitch tanks, blame flies. Fingers pointing at my risky diversity push. Boardroom showdown. Chris defending me fierce, but cracks show. His stress manifesting in snapped replies. Cancelled dates. Work first, he mutters over takeout. Always, echo of old fights. July 4th. Fireworks over the East River, but ours fizzle. Argument at a rooftop barbecue. His phone buzzing with Harry's name. Ignored but insistent. What now? I demand. Nothing. Old friend check-in. Liar. Flashback to leaks. Journals. Tell me. Sigh. He's sick. Cancer. Asked for advice on. End-of-life stuff. For the kid. World tilted. And you didn't say? Didn't want to burden. Defiant. Not everything's about us. Isn't it? Hurt lanced. Or am I just the pretty distraction? Storm out. Again pattern. Vicious. Nights on Mia's couch. Days stoic at work. Chris's texts. Talk, please. Radio silence. Climax brewed in August. Humidity thick as unspoken dread. Harry's call. Chris takes it in our home office. Door cracked. Snatches. Peace. Forgive. Click. He emerges. Wrecked. It's bad. Stage 4. Empathy surges. Drowning anger. Go. See him. You sure? For him. For you. Kiss forehead. For us. Upstate drive. Chris solo. Me holding fort. Days stretch. Worry gnaws. Texts holding hands. Stories swapped. Then he wants you here. Says owes you. Road trip north. Adirondacks green and indifferent. Cabin by the lake. Harry frail in flannel. Oxygen tube a serpent. But eyes sharp. Knew you'd come. We talked, raw, unfiltered. His regrets pushed Chris away to save him. From me, mine. Blamed you for cracks that were always there. Laughter. Weak. Love's messy. Human. He passed at dusk. Sunset bleeding red across water. Funeral small us. His estranged daughter. Tentative thaw. Ashes scattered where young love bloomed. Back in the city. Grief cements us. Chris. Hollow-eyed. He freed me. Finally. September equinox. Balance restored. We launch Harry's Legacy Fund. Grants for queer artists. Mental health warriors. Billboard in Times Square. Echoes endure. October circles. Anniversary of that interview. We recreate it. Conference room. Resumes scattered. Tell me your truth, Chris prompts. Grinning. Always. Kiss. Deep. Healing. Winter's grip loosened into a tentative spring. But for us, seasons blurred. Life a relentless bloom amid the concrete. Reyes Harlan soared. Awards piled. Clients clamored for our authentic edge. Me and Chris. Tandem forces. Navigating boardrooms with synced glances. After hours with tangled limbs. The betrayal scar faded to silver. Reminder. Not rupture. Therapy evolved to maintenance. Rita's office now a victory lap. You built it. Own it. Mia's wedding that June, vibrant affair in a Hudson Valley vineyard. Her in white lace, partner in a killer suit. We stood as witnesses, toasts laced with inside jokes. To loves that weather storms, she raised. Eyes on us misty. Back home, our own milestone, positive test, surrogate journey we'd whispered about in P-Town fog. A family, Chris breathed. Hand on my flat belly, symbolic, but potent. Ours. Harry's fund exploded. First grants to a trans filmmaker, a non-binary poet. At the gala, his daughter approached. Tentative. Dad. He'd be proud. Handshake turned hug. Bridges mending. But humanism's not linear. Shadows lurk. Fall brought a whisper campaign, rival firm poaching talent. Rumors of our personal drama tainting the brand. Anonymous email to me, ask your husband about the intern. Doubt slithered. Confrontation over Merlot at home. Truth. Now, Chris's face thunder. Fabrication. Jealous ex-employee. Proof. HR logs. Alibis ironclad. Still, the seed sprouted, nights sleepless. Trust a fragile vine. We doubled down. Couples retreat in Big Sur. Waves crashing therapy for the soul. Hikes where we aired fears. I fear losing you to the shine. He confessed. Redwoods towering. And I? The dark. I echoed. Vows renewed on a cliffside. Salt wind witness. Baby news anchored us. Ultrasound's grainy miracles. Nursery painted soft blue. Chris. Nesting fierce. Gonna be the dad who shows up. No ghosts. December snowed us in. Cocooned in the loft, tree twinkling. Stockings hung. New Year's quiet. Just us. Champagne bubbling. Resolutions whispered, more us. Less world. But worlds collide. January thaw unearthed a letter. From Harry's estate. Unsealed. If you're reading this, I'm dust. To Jordan. You were the mirror I couldn't face. Brave where I hid. Forgive the thief, he stole to give back double. To Chris. Love like fire warm, not scorch. You found your match. Burn bright. Tears. Cathartic. We framed it beside our rings. Spring birthed Elias. Named for Harry's middle. A nod without weight. Tiny fists clutching fingers. Cries a symphony. Sleepless nights bonded deeper. Chris's lullabies off-key but earnest. Look what we made, he marveled. Dawn light gilding us. Firm evolved. Sabbaticals for parents. Inclusivity baked in. A keynote deck glad. Story of that interview a parable. Truth stunned me into silence once. Now, it roars. Years folded. Elias toddling. Then tearing through Central Park on training wheels. Chris's novel, memoirish. Ghosts exorcised hit bestseller lists. We mentored by time. Decade mark. Vow renewal in the botanical. Same garden. Lilacs defiant. Mia officiating. Elias ring bearer in tiny tucks. Vows updated. Through betrayals and births. Your heart my compass. After party spilled to the high line. City pulse our backdrop. Chris pulled me aside. Under the old rails. That day your truth in the room. Changed everything. Made us. Kiss. Timeless. Humanism's arc bends gentle. Not perfection, but persistence. Betrayals teach borders. Loves forge homes. In America's glittering grind, from Manhattan spires to Heartland echoes, we carved ours. Stunned once, speechless no more. Now, we speak volumes, in touches, in triumphs, in the quiet roar of forever. Epilogue whispers, Elias, 5, rainbow flag cape, asks, Daddy, tell the interview story again. I do. Embellished with flair, hooks sharp, twists tender. Chris watches, I soft. And they lived, he adds, queerly ever after.